I want to ask you about your book. It's sold out, at least in print.
So you can get it on Amazon now, but I'm personally sold out. I sell them from my website for the cover price is $14. It's a 350-page book. The difference between me and Amazon will fuck over every independent publisher. They'll just undercut them until you have no profits. I sell it for the cover price, $14. You get it signed and delivered. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a new shipment in a few days. So if you want to get my Jim Hancock on it, you go to jimgoad.net and order it. But yeah, it's a collection of 50 articles I wrote all about whiteness and the stigma about being white. Because I'm sure you're familiar with the meme. You look up white pride and Asian pride and black pride and brown pride on Wikipedia. There's only one that's called racist and associated with neo-Nazism and everything. And that was not the case. And when we were sold anti-racism in the 60s, they didn't tell us all this white privilege shit. They didn't tell us they were going to keep moving the goalposts.
No, they said, why can't we be friends with
That's all it was. That's all it was. But then like by the 80s, I'm starting to notice, hey, wait a minute. Like, why I thought we were all supposed to drop group pride. Why are you not only allowing, but whipping up black pride and brown pride? Then that's when I knew we've been sold a load of bullshit. But I think one thing that's stupid about the boomer meme is the idea that they knew what was going to happen. They were completely kept in the dark over that shit.
There was no internet back then.
I mean, and most of these fuckers my dad, he died at 59 because I was 19 at the time. He worked 80 hours a week the whole time I was growing up. 40 hours as an independent plumber and 40 hours working down at the oil refinery in Southwest Philadelphia. How the fuck was he supposed to know what was really behind the Hart-Celler Act of 1965?
Yeah, exactly.
And the only other thing I'll say about this whole generational astrology thing, which seems to be rampant everywhere, is my personal feeling it's a divide and conquer scheme. I mean, those boomers you're telling to die, they're white. If you want to focus, go on the black boomers, okay? Like, holy shit. I mean, there's a common ground there that's getting just trampled on because a lot of these people are so uneducated and have such short attention spans, they'll swallow any meme that comes up. And that's not defending boomers. I'm just saying all generations are stupid. But the idea that they were even responsible, much less aware of what was going on, is inaccurate.
They didn't know any better. Exactly. I mean, back in the day, if you didn't know someone that knew something, you'd never get any radical literature that could change your mind. It was impossible. So people that blame, boomers for this, I think boomers now are starting to realize what's going on, and they're trying to react in the most possible way they can, which was voting for Donald Trump or perhaps supporting various causes. So they do their part, and anyone that tries to really create this antagonism is a fool. And usually I find that there's a sense of entitlement in that, at the risk of sounding like a boomer myself.
Tom Metzger was a boomer. Donald Trump's a boomer. George Lincoln Rockwell, he might have been greatest generation. I don't know. But William Pierce. Yeah. A lot of these people, I mean, they were radical as hell. They got harassed. They got infiltrated, persecuted. Not to the degree you do now. But, I mean, most people aren't aware. But the whole boomer thing, too, it's like, because you got 9 friends on Discord, you think that's the way all 20-year-olds think? Think again. From everything I've seen, I guess there's one study that says they're the most conservative. Everything I've seen, they're the pro-tranny, anti-racism, smash the borders, kill white people generation in history. So it's a little short-sighted. Stick together on the important subjects and quit like fighting over. And the whole thing, like you can predict someone's behavior from the 20-year phase they were born in is dumber than astrology. But anyway, let's go on to the next topic. I don't want to dwell on that, but it's just I switched over because I'm going to have to leave at 8:20 to go on the red ice. Gotcha. Emily Yukis was on there, and within 3 minutes, kill all boomers. Is like,
I know that. I mean, some of it is just joking around, but some of it does take an ideological form, and I don't like it either. Especially, at the risk of engaging in the generational fighting myself, I see some of these Zoomers, Generation Z. And what you see with them is ineptitude in various social questions, like, for example, getting pussy. And instead of accepting this ineptitude and working to improve it, what they do instead is pretend that it's because they're these pious Catholics or because they're more moral than thou.
Well, and they get sucked up in their digital devices. And I mean, the whole thing about generations, my opinion, and from what I've seen over my extremely long life, is that people are shaped by their circumstances. Most people don't have the bravery or the agency to shape their generation. If it's milk and honey, everyone gets fat and lazy. If it's stark hard times, people get a little more radical and hardcore. Circumstances change people. Most people are too stupid and I don't know, unmotivated to change their generation.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an abdication of responsibility. I had no fucking responsibility. I've like, the minute I realized some bullshit was going on, I flipped. That's all.
Exactly.
But you have to be exposed to contrary ideas. And it was Metzger. He's like, no, people in power don't believe we're equal. And it's like, I never heard that idea before. My entire life. I grew up with Norman Lear comedies where the white guys were always the idiots. If that's all you're exposed to, no matter how intelligent you are, you start to think that's reality until something else comes along. And that's why I think the biggest problem, let's all shut up about boomers and I'll shut up about trads and all that stuff. Let's get the fucking enemy who's trying to shut us up forever. Because the difference between now and previous generations is technology. And if they get it, I mean, Kaczynski was right. If they get complete control over technology, there's not going to be any war. It's over forever.
Yeah. The internet at one point was supposed to be like Raphael's School of Athens. And now it's just, now this featuring Desmond is Amazing, stripping for queers at a gay bar for money. That's going to be just playing on your computer 24/7.
And it's just unreality. It's a world. And Theodore Dalrymple, who writes for Tacky's Mag, where I write, he had this great, you can look it up. Look at Theodore Dalrymple and political correctness, because he says it's communism writ small, because the purpose of communism in his research of communist societies wasn't to inform, it was to humiliate and break people. And when you get people to consent to what's obviously a lie, oh, that's a woman. I don't think most people really think that's a woman. But if you, oh yeah, that's a woman, yet you cripple them.
That's in the book Anti-Humans about the Romanian communists. They were doing that in the 50s.
They're just selling shit that makes no sense, but if you don't believe it, they'll slay you. And it's like, man, people got to step up. And I don't know how that could be, who knows these days, that could be, encouraging terrorism or whatever. But if you don't step up and speak up, it's over. It's not going to get better in a generation. The pendulum is not going to swing. No. We're in a really dark time, and it's crazy now. So yeah, maybe put down the fucking infighting. The left doesn't infight like this.
I disagree. They have their own purity spiraling and moralizing, and they're purging Glenn Greenwald as we speak.
You think he's a leftist? He's kind of hard to pin sometimes, because on speech issues and stuff, he's not. But he didn't he have the journalist who he had a black writer who turned out to be the guy who was kicking over Jewish tombstones in St. Louis.
So, yeah. Yeah. But Glenn Greenwald goes on the Tucker Show and has an open discourse with him and such, and the left is punishing him for it. They're calling him out. They're trying it, but he's just too big to fail, I guess. But regardless, the left is actually in a lot of ways worse than the right. But
if they are, let them eat each other and then stop fighting, guys. Like it's on the shit we agree about. That's so much more important now. That's why I defend Gavin. And I told Spencer the other night, I've known him for a long time. When he started counter signaling and calling people Nazis and saying Spencer was a bad guy, he didn't say any of that shit a year or two before. I don't know why he did it, but hey, he assembled, as silly as you might think that group was, that was pretty much the premier street fighting group in America.
Yeah. No, I give the Proud Boys a credit that they're due. They stand their ground, and they don't give a flying fuck.
And Portland, they went into Portland and just mopped the floor. So, search for this is going to sound real new age, but shit's getting real bad. Look for the similarities, and you can do your infighting when the war is over.
Exactly.